What's up, you guys? Hope you've had a great day. We're going to be jumping in here for our Q&A for the week. We're here in the Discord group. Hit that link in the description if you want to join. Plenty of cool stuff in here. And obviously you can help out with the People's team as well, who's doing well. But we'll start up with Trent Z there with his question of Angus Crichton to Yo. Is that a good trade considering Angus's slow start plus now on the bench? Yeah, if you can't think of holding Gus, if you think that he's just going to come on the edge and play 50 minutes or he's going to play lower than that, then I'm okay with you trading him. He has always been a keeper, ever since he came into the league. So there's every opportunity that he comes back and does that again, or he ends up starting, or who knows exactly. So if that's, if you don't think that's going to continue, then that's fine to move him on. Just remember, Yo's state's a little bit inflated, and it won't happen for those stats won't happen forever. He'll have a few games where he has less than 80 minutes and stuff like that as well. So be aware of that. Watson for Starling from Seki. Thanks for the question. Leaves me with 350k for a Cleary kind of day. Nice. What do you reckon, bro? Watson for Starling. Watson's probably playing this week, so I think that's probably silly. I'd try and get Starling another way. Watson you can have as a mid and a hooker as well. So I think that's probably silly. Yes, the 350 for Cleary would be ideal, but there's more things you can do. There's other things you can do, and to get that extra cash, for example. Thoughts on Utokamano for Starling? Okay, if you don't think, let's just speak about Stefano for a starter. If you don't think he's a keeper, you can trade him. If you think he's a keeper, hold him. That's simple as that. He's obviously his price making potential for the short term has been compromised with his couple of low scores. So just be aware of that if you're thinking of trading him. All right, Hamish. So chances on Cleary getting moved to 7 last minute and playing this week. Yeah, the chances are probably about 20%. If he doesn't play this week, then he's probably going to play in other weeks. So I got a dog here today, so relax. All right, so C&K to Starling and Junior Balo to Nane and save cash for Cleary. C&K to Starling. I think that's okay. I wouldn't be trading out Bolo though, with his potential to do well after obviously a pretty good game last week as well. So yeah, that's probably my worry. I'm happy with the C&K trade. I think he's someone you can trade out. What should we do with Josh King with the cheese returning fairly soon? If you hold him, you got to hold him. If you are thinking about buying him, just check the video I popped out today there, and that will help you out with that decision. I think that he's a minor buy rather than like a must-have or anything like that. Nanai still a bring-in for Ilias, or should I bank the cash for Cleary? All right, what's a Nanai? What do we think with him? Look, you can bring him in, but I'm not like completely sold on him. Obviously, we have the 17 in his scores, so that's obviously a bit of a worry for him with how well he went the first game. I think he'll have a bounce back game for sure, but I don't think he's a max buy-in right now. I think last week he was important to bring in just based on what we'd seen, and now we've seen a little bit more, so you can hold off on him, I think, for example. But I'm happy for you to just bank some cash for Cleary if that's something you're thinking about. Ghostly, what do you think about Mbai taking over from Maka being injured? So Maka looks like he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. I don't think Mbai is a trade-in, just with the fact that he's going to be moving back to the bench and not really making you much cash. If he was super cheap, then I could see him being an option, but a little bit more expensive, I think he's in the mid 300s. I think he's someone that you can leave out at this stage. Big thoughts on Stefano to King? If that's Josh King, probably no. If it's a Max King, yes. Bully's all good. Bully to Nane. If Bully isn't injured, then Tuolangi to Nane. You can do that if you like. Just be aware that Nane could come out and not do as well again. Slick, Bullimore and Tuolangi trade outs. You can hold either. But Tui, you just got to worry a little bit about if Garner keeps his spot and if Tui comes in on the bench. That's probably the main worry with him. Bully, again, we're probably not sure if he's going to get 80 minutes because they got two edges on the bench. That's probably my big worry with him. You can either trade him out if you like. You can sit him in number 5 and maybe try and loop him. There's a few things to do with him and Tui, for example. But completely up to you. So it's neither here nor there. It's not a must out or a must a must hold. Completely in the middle with what suits your team. Bully to Starling versus Nane. Yeah, I think Starling's going to score better and might make a little bit more cash, but we'll see how Jeremiah, if he improves in week to week here. Is Nane going to do good next game? I have no idea. I thought he was going to do well last game. He'll do better than 17, that's for sure. Can I say that? For sure. Captain Payne Haas or Nico Hines. I think Haas every day of the week is your smartest option there. He's got Lockie Ilias as captain in his profile picture, so that's that. My name is Deese. Who are your top 3 buys and top 3 sells this week? Top 3 buys, obviously Max King, Tango, Starling I think is important. In terms of guns, you've got guys like Joshi Curran, I think he's going to do great, not play Origin. Not too many other guys that are too super exciting. Top 3 sells, guys like CNK I think is a sell. Anyone it's a mid-range that you don't think is going to be a keeper, I think is a good one. And injured cash cows, who we got? Shawnee Russell and those guys you could sell, but yeah, the money you have in the bank is slightly annoying. If you haven't got rid of Madison yet, get rid of him. Do I hold strong on CNK? I don't think so. Steph to Arrow sideways, or should I get Steph to Max King? Max King's a must-have, Cruz. So if that's the only way you're going to get him at that price, like that he's up in the 320s now, then you can do it if you don't think Steph is a keeper. What to do with Turbo now? I think you should hold personally. There's every chance that he comes out and goes nuts against the Dogs. If you're okay with that, he has a very, very high break even in the 120 something. So if you're okay with trading it out, using a trade to pop him out, you're probably going to want him sometime during the season. So just be aware of that. If you can stomach him getting a 90 this week with a couple of tries, then that would be be able to trade him. If you can't stomach that because it's every chance he does it against the Dogs, then you have to hold on to him. Do we think Cleary has a chance of playing? Yeah, small chance, but how do we know? He's on the extended bench. Same with Brandon Smith. They're both probably a week away, but there's every chance that they could pop in. I don't think they need to, though. This ain't a question. This is an SOS call. Angus Crichton bench. Harry Grant, COVID. Yeah, so plenty happening there. A few people asked me about Nat Butcher, which I'll just talk about now. I don't think he's an option, guys. He's probably a little bit too expensive. There's every chance he gets 55 minutes like he does off the bench anyway. So keep that in mind. Crichton, again, you can hold if you like, give him another week, or you can potentially trade out if you like. But he's just had a couple of lower games with no tries or anything. You could come out off the bench and get 60 minutes and a couple of tries. You never know. Jamie, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Ilias out for Baker or Thompson. I'd personally go Thompson over Baker. He now gets a little bit more runway. I actually traded him out in my team last week, which is really annoying. I wish I just traded out Ilias or someone else. But he now has that sort of 3 to 4 weeks probably to make some cash. And if he averages 30 over the next bid, he's got at least 100K to make. So over the last month, I should say. Then he's got a little bit more opportunity than Baker. Just don't expect 40s from Thompson and Croker next week. They just, both for super high PPMs and a little bit inflated there. I've already traded Bully for Tungo this week, but I'm lacking edge cover and have 5 halves on my bench / emergency. Well, that's fine. Lacking edge cover. Well, you just throw Bully to Tungo, so you don't really lose that. But yeah, if you're lacking the cover right this second, then just, you can wait a week or two. Yeah, you can probably get away with not having the cover, and something will come up next few weeks. Gumby, I currently have most of the cheaps in my squad. Who should I sell Uto for this week? Should I sell him this week? Or Ilias or Amone for who should they be replaced with? Again, all the guys I'm mentioning in my videos, mate, I wouldn't stray anything further from that unless you can downgrade someone and upgrade Uto for a keeper in any position you like around that 600k mark. That's probably an option. Thoughts on Mane for Hines? Got Randall to fill in. I wouldn't trade Reedy. Personally, I'm holding him, so up to you. If you don't want him, then that's fine too. I've got cash for a Bully trade to Aiken. Bird, is it worth it? Probably. Yeah, if you're wanting sort of cover in that sort of edge position and center as well, then either one's going to be good. I'm not going to push you away from either. Iron Will, I've had a horror start, 784 and 710. I'm ranked in the 30,000s. What are some tips to get myself out of this hole? I'd like to think my season isn't already over. Of course not, Iron. Definitely not over. You have a look at the boys on the TK and the boys on Talking League. They've had a bit of a struggler of a start, sitting in like the 10,000, 15,000-ish mark. But it's not the end of the world. You can start there and finish in the top 1,000. You just have to make sure any of the cashies that you missed out on that I say are must-haves need to be in your squad, and just clean up a little bit of the mid-range guys that you may have stuffed up on. Most of the keepers you can hold in, even if they haven't gone as well. Just say you're sitting with Reed, then they're going to come good eventually. So that's the best way, mate. Don't feel like your season's over. It all is okay from here. Just look at improving your scores from this point on. Is Croker a sneaky cash cow of the Knights, you reckon? I don't think so, mate. I think Leo Thompson's probably a better option, but Croker has probably a little bit of runway over the next few weeks, so just beware of that PPM. I don't think it's going to be super high. All right, Johnny, keen on Starling with the news of Hodgson and Trevelyan. With the changes in wing fullback scores, I feel a 9 getting close to 80 is more valuable. Yeah, of course, man. I'd go that trade, Nick, CNK for Starling for sure, especially with that being your first trade of the year. All right, Save, when should we start planning for Cleary, seeing Hines 84? Just look like Hines can get that being all over the park. Same as Cleary, should be stressing about bringing Cleary in immediately, seeing Cleary is the king. You don't have to do it immediately, but within the first few rounds would be ideal. But he might drop a tiny bit in price given the changes in the rules. Just be aware of that. He could come out and get 80s every week as well, so that's fine. Donuts, should I risk bringing in Cleary this week for DCE? No. Don't be silly. Got no Haas, as I got Murray instead, but I don't trust him yet for captain. Put DCE's captain. They're playing the Dogs. How lucky is it Cleary with hit his ceiling when he returns? And best to wait. I'm happy for you to wait a couple of weeks. Yeah. Hey, B. Is Schiller gone long term? Yeah. It was only going to be a couple of week prospect if we get Rapanis. Unless it's injuries to the wingers, he won't be playing anymore. Hey, Jamie Stefano, just Starling swap banking the cash. Yeah, it's fine. When Cleary comes back, will O'Sullivan get the 14 role over Mitch Kenny? Unlikely. I'd say Kenny would get it. He played a fair bit at the back end of last year, so I think that's his spot. He can cover in the middle. He can cover at the hooking position as well. A trade for Uto for Finucane, a good trade. Personally, I don't think Finucane's a great option. I think he's overinflated his scores. I spoke about him in one of the latest videos and went through his actual scores there. So check out that video. But he doesn't score that high in his big minute games usually, and he's a chance of losing a few minutes to McInnes and stuff like that. So that's that. Yeah. So he's just really high at the moment. Leo will be a good get this week. Clem out for 3 to 6 weeks. Yeah, the Clem injury and the Fitzgibbon injury really, it was really tough for me when I took out Leo in my team. But he'll be decent. He'll probably score around that 30 mark in 30 minutes or so, I'd say. Fano, thoughts on these trades? Grant to Starling. No. Arrow to Cleary next week. No, don't trade out Grant. You're going to want to get him back. So that's silly for 1 week. Yes, it's maybe the most efficient way, but it's not the best way. Nowhere near the best way. Sorry, mate. Fano, if we assume Grant plus Arrow will average 60 plus 50 per week, 110 average, and we'll also assume conservatively Starling averages 40, that will clear in a 70 average to make this a sideways trade based on points. Yeah, nice. Good call. Do you think there's upside in points, or would it be better to have a balanced team with Grant, Arrow, and spend 200k elsewhere? Probably at this stage, and you can get Grant Cleary a little bit later. Hey, Jamie, Andy Fantasy Sports, welcome. I don't have Max King, but I have the full set of Ilias, Josh King, Bully, Nanae, Amone. Who shall I let go of for Max? I'd probably let go of Amone first. Yeah, I'd say him over Bully. Bully's a chance of doing all right, but we'll have to look at his minutes. I can't make a call on him right now. Ben Hunt does the most of the work in that Dragon side. Jono, hey Jamie, is Curran still an option since he's getting some attention for the Blues squad and may miss some games? Yeah, but it's early in the season. You got like 10 games before that happens, so don't stress about Origin until maybe 2 to 3 weeks away. Hi Jamie, which two of Starling, Tonga, May should I bring in? Those two, top two. Have I missed the boat on Tonga? I think it's probably last week to get him. If he gets another 50, he's going to be very expensive, and then you're buying him in the mid 400s, which is almost like keeper territory for centers. So yeah, I think he's you need to try and get him in now, but don't blow up your team to get him either. H-Dog, who do you think is worth trading in, Josh King or Hetherington? King has lower B, but we'll be able to make a little bit more cash. But we'll be on the bench again with Smith on the team. That's what I'm worried about is the bench minutes for him. Hetherington, he was awesome off the bench in terms of the PPM, so he has a better chance. If he gets 45 to 50 minutes of making cash than what Josh does long-term, and Kobe is one of their important players that they like. So it's a really hard one. I'd probably almost just hold off on Kingy unless you're getting this week only is the last chance, I think, and then Kobe you can wait a week or two. In the long run, King will stay. Yeah, that's right. Max King, decent minutes will be biggest cash cow, all top 3. That's right, and Tonga. All right, any more down there? Yes, like I'm making that video. Last few. Bully and Tuolangi to Thompson and Starling. Yeah, it's fine. Do you think these guys are going to make a lot of money? That's the question you ask yourself. If you don't think it's a yes, then trade him out. That's fine. If you've got guys that like Starling who you think can score well and make some cash, and Thompson make a little bit of cash as well, and maybe uses a loop option if he plays well. What to do with Angus? We spoke about that a fair bit. Up to you if you want to hold or trade is fine. Belshi gave that team a look. Just another copy-paste team. Tough times. There you go. That's the video, guys, for the questions for me. I hope that helped you guys out with any extra ones that I haven't touched on, the bully ones, the Tuolangi, the Crichton, Finucane, all those types of guys. I hope that helps. Please hit subscribe, guys, if you're new. Hit that like button, and we'll catch you in another video, guys. Have a great night. See you later.